Welcome back. Tonight, I'll be sharing 3 scary, true New Year's Eve horror stories. These aren't stories about parties gone wrong or awkward countdown kisses. These are the kinds of memories people never talk about. Moments that were supposed to mark a fresh start, but instead turned into something unforgettable and terrifying. As fireworks go off and the clock hits midnight, most people are celebrating. But in these stories, someone else was watching, waiting, moving closer. Turn the volume up, check the locks, and don't assume you're alone when the year changes. Let's get into the first story. Story 1. The countdown wasn't for the new year. This happened on New Year's Eve 2016, when I was 18 years old. It was the first New Year's Eve I was ever completely alone. My parents had gone out of town to visit relatives, and all my friends already had plans. I didn't really mind. I wasn't much of a party person back then. My plan was simple: order food, keep the TV on, and wait for midnight like it was any other night. By 10:30 p.m., the house felt unusually quiet. Outside, snow had started falling, thick, slow flakes that softened every sound. Streetlights glowed through it, making everything look blurry and unreal. Our neighborhood was almost empty. Most houses were dark, and the few that had lights on were clearly hosting parties. I double-checked the locks out of habit. Front door, back door, windows. Everything was fine. At 10:52 p.m., I sat down on the couch with the TV on low volume. A New Year's Eve broadcast played in the background. Loud crowds, laughing hosts, fireworks footage from other cities. It felt strange watching people celebrate when everything around me felt so still. That's when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message said, "You're spending it alone?" I frowned. I assumed it was a wrong number. I didn't reply. About 30 seconds later, my phone buzzed again. That's kind of sad. My chest tightened a little. I typed back, "Who is this?" The response came instantly. "Someone close enough to hear your TV." I muted the television. The silence in the house suddenly felt heavy. I listened for sounds, footsteps, voices, anything. There was nothing, just the faint tick of the clock on the wall. I tried to calm myself. It was probably a prank, someone guessing, someone bored. At 10:17 p.m., there was a knock at the front door. Not loud, not aggressive, just 3 slow knocks. I didn't move. My phone buzzed again. "You're bad at pretending you're not home." My heart started racing. I stayed seated, barely breathing. Another knock followed, harder this time. I quietly stood up and moved toward the hallway, staying close to the wall. I didn't turn on any lights. I peered through the narrow window beside the door. All I could see was darkness and snow. No one was there. I let out a shaky breath and stepped back. That's when my phone vibrated again. I'm still here. At 11:25, the TV automatically unmuted when the broadcast cut to live footage from different neighborhoods. One of the shots looked familiar, too familiar. It was my street. The camera angle was near the end of the block, showing fireworks being set up. Snow drifted across the screen. And near the sidewalk, standing completely still, was a man. He wasn't celebrating. He wasn't with anyone. He was facing my house. I recognized the shape of his jacket, the way his hands were in his pockets, the way he didn't move at all. My phone buzzed. Midnight's almost here. The knocking started again, this time violent. My door shook in its frame. I backed away, heart pounding, and ran down the hallway toward the bathroom. I locked the door behind me and turned off the light. I sat on the floor, pulling my knees to my chest. From the living room, I could hear glass cracking, then shattering. The countdown on the TV grew louder. 10, 9, 8. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming. 7, 6. Footsteps inside the house. Heavy, slow, unhurried. 5, 4. Police sirens wailed in the distance. 3, 2. The footsteps stopped. 1. Cheers erupted from the TV. I stayed in that bathroom for nearly an hour. When the police finally cleared the house, they told me the man had smashed a side window and climbed inside, but left the moment he heard the sirens. In the snow outside, there were footprints leading from the street to my window and stopping directly beneath the bathroom. The unknown number was never traced. But every year since then, when people count down to midnight, I don't. Because I learned something that night. Sometimes the countdown isn't for the new year. Sometimes it's for you.
Story 2. She never made it to midnight. This happened on New Year's Eve 2019. And even now, years later, I still can't watch fireworks without thinking about her. Her name was Lena. She was 20, loud in the best way, the kind of person who made boring places feel alive. She loved New Year's Eve more than any other holiday. She treated it like a reset button, like if you celebrated hard enough, you could leave everything ugly behind and start clean at midnight. That year, she'd been planning for weeks. She bought a silver dress that shimmered under light like it was made out of tiny mirrors. She practiced her makeup looks in my bathroom. She made playlists titled New Year, New Me, like she was trying to convince the universe to finally cut her a break. A house party was happening across town, hosted by a guy she barely knew, a friend of a friend situation. But Lena didn't care. She said the best nights were always the ones that were a little risky. She begged me to come. I didn't. I was sick, or at least I told myself I was. Truth is, I just didn't feel like being around strangers that night. I promised I'd stay up and text her at midnight. At 9:12 p.m., Lena sent me a selfie in the mirror. Her hair curled perfectly, that silver dress catching the light. She looked excited in a way that almost made me feel guilty for staying home. Her caption said, "This year is going to be different." At 9:58 p.m., she texted again, "Uber's outside. If I die tonight, delete my search history." I replied with laughing emojis and told her to be safe. At 10:26 p.m., she sent a video from inside the house, music blasting, people shouting, the camera swinging fast enough to make me dizzy. She looked happy, but the place looked off, not like a normal party. It wasn't decorated. No balloons, no streamers, no countdown board. The rooms were dim, like they didn't want anyone seeing too clearly. People were packed together, but nobody looked like they were actually having fun, more like they were waiting for something. I typed, "Are you okay?" She didn't reply. At 10:41 p.m., I got a voice note. Lena's voice was quieter than usual, almost like she was trying to not be heard. "Yo, this party is kinda weird," she said, and in the background I could hear a man laughing, too close to her phone. "People keep going upstairs and not coming back down." Then she forced a laugh and said, "Maybe I'm just paranoid." The message ended. At 10:59 p.m., Lena texted, "I think I messed up." My stomach dropped. I replied immediately, "What happened, Lena?" No response. I called her. It rang once, then went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. At 11:07, I opened our chat and watched the delivered notification sit there like a brick. At 11:15, I started panicking. I texted her, "Answer me, I'm calling you an Uber home." Nothing. At 11:29 p.m., her location, which she shared with me for safety sometimes, stopped updating. It didn't go off, it didn't show low battery, it just froze, like time itself had paused on that dot. I convinced myself her phone died. I had to, because the alternative made my chest feel like it was collapsing. At 11:47, I called one of our mutual friends who was supposed to be there with her. She sounded drunk and confused. She said she hadn't seen Lena in a while. She mumbled, "Maybe she left with someone." "With who?" I asked. She paused like she was thinking hard. "I don't know," she said. "Some guy. Tall. Huddy, I think."
My skin went cold. The countdown began on TV. I watched the numbers drop, not feeling any celebration at all, just dread. At 11:58, I called Lena again. It rang longer this time. Then someone answered. But it wasn't Lena. All I heard was loud music and breathing. I shouted, "Hello? Who is this?" The line went silent. Then softly, a man's voice said, "Don't worry, she'll make it to midnight." And the call ended. I didn't even think. I grabbed my coat, ran outside, and drove toward the address Lena had sent earlier. When I got there, the street was packed with cars. People were cheering in the yard, fireworks cracking overhead. It looked normal from the outside, like any other house party. But when I pushed my way inside, the air felt wrong. Too warm, too humid, and the music sounded like it was covering something up. I yelled Lena's name. Nobody looked at me. It was like I didn't exist. I pushed through rooms, checked corners, tried to get upstairs, but a guy blocked the stairs. "No one goes up," he said, smiling like it was a joke. I demanded to know where my friend was. He shrugged and said, "Relax, it's New Year's." At midnight, everyone screamed and hugged and kissed, and I stood there shaking, feeling like I was the only person in that house who understood something was terribly wrong. The police found Lena's phone 2 days later, not inside the house, not outside, in an alley behind it. The screen was cracked, the case was missing, and the last recorded file on it wasn't a message. It was a video, accidentally recorded in her pocket. You could hear muffled footsteps, a door opening, her breathing getting faster, her voice whispering, "No, no, no." Then a man's voice, close enough to sound like it was inside her ear, "You're not going anywhere before midnight." And the video cut off at 11:59 p.m. They never found Lena, and every New Year's Eve, when people celebrate the start of a new year, all I can think about is the year she never got to enter. Story 3. The Call at Midnight. This happened on New Year's Eve of 2021 when I was working overnight security at a corporate office building. It wasn't glamorous. It was the kind of job where nothing ever happened. Until it did. The building was 12 floors, mostly empty during the holidays. On New Year's Eve, it was basically a concrete box filled with silence and fluorescent light. My job was to sit at the front desk, watch the camera monitors, and do rounds every hour. That night, I brought snacks, an energy drink, and my phone charger. My girlfriend was at her family's house, and we'd planned to FaceTime at midnight so we could count down together. It was corny, but I liked that. It made the night feel less lonely. By 11:20 p.m., the building had that strange after-hours feeling, like it was holding its breath. The hallways were too clean, too empty. Every sound echoed. Even my footsteps felt louder than they should have been. At 11:37 p.m., I did a quick camera check. Camera 1, lobby entrance. Camera 2, front desk view. Camera 3, parking lot. Camera 4, garage entrance. Camera 5, elevator doors. Camera 6, stairwell. Everything looked normal. At 11:49 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it, debating whether to pick up. I didn't. It stopped ringing after a few seconds. I went back to scrolling. A minute later, it rang again. Same number. I answered this time, mostly annoyed. Hello? There was no greeting, just breathing. Slow, controlled breathing, like someone holding the phone too close to their mouth. Who is this? I asked. A voice, low and calm, finally spoke. Check the cameras. Then the line went dead. I sat there for a second, feeling stupid. It sounded like a prank, maybe one of the day shift guys messing with me. Still, something about the breathing didn't feel playful. It felt patient. I turned to the monitors. Camera 1, empty lobby, automatic doors closed. Camera 3, snow blowing through the parking lot lights, no cars moving. Camera 6, stairwell, still. Then I looked at camera 2. My stomach dropped. Camera 2 was showing the front desk from an angle above and behind me, like it was mounted in the corner near the ceiling. And on that screen, I could see myself, sitting at the desk, looking at the monitors, exactly what I was doing. But here's the problem. That camera angle didn't exist. We didn't have a camera in that corner. I'd worked there for months. I knew every angle, every blind spot. Camera 2 was supposed to be a second lobby angle, not whatever this was. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I didn't want to answer, but I did. Stop calling me, I said, trying to sound tough. The breathing was back. Then the same voice spoke again. You're going to miss it. Miss what? I snapped. Midnight, he said softly. I wanted to be here when the year changes. My throat went dry. I forced a laugh. Where are you? I asked. He didn't answer that. Instead, he said, Camera 2 sees everything you don't. I looked back to the monitor. On camera 2, something moved. Not on the real lobby camera, not on any other camera, only on camera 2. A shape passed through the hallway behind the front desk, the employee-only corridor that led to the offices and the stairwell. It moved slowly, like it wasn't in a hurry. I spun around in my chair and stared down that corridor in real life. Nothing. The corridor was empty, but on camera 2, the shape was still there, and it was closer now. My phone buzzed with a text from the same unknown number. Don't turn around too fast. You'll make it obvious. My entire body went cold. I didn't move. The lobby TV, mounted high on the wall, had the New Year's broadcast playing quietly in the background. I hadn't even realized it was on until the crowd noise rose. The countdown was starting. I saw the giant numbers on the TV. 10. The voice on the phone whispered, "There it is." 9. I stared at camera 2, frozen. 8. On the screen, the hallway behind me darkened, like a shadow was spilling into it. 7. Then I saw it. A figure stepped into view behind my chair. Tall, too tall, wearing what looked like a hood or a dark cap. I could see only its outline at first. 6. I tried to convince myself it was a camera glitch. 5. Then the figure leaned forward, and I realized it was looking down at me, at the back of my head. 4.
My phone buzzed in my hand. Another text. You never look up. 3. I didn't know what that meant until I slowly raised my eyes from the monitor to the ceiling above me. There was nothing there. No camera, no person, just white ceiling tiles. 2. On camera 2, the figure was still behind me. So I did the only thing I could think of. I stood up and ran. I didn't grab my jacket, I didn't grab my keys, I just ran toward the lobby doors like my life depended on it. 1. Behind me, I heard something fall, like a chair scraping. The TV erupted into cheers. Happy New Year! I burst outside into the snow and didn't stop moving until I reached the street. My lungs burned. My heart felt like it was trying to break out of my ribs. I called the police, shaking so hard I could barely speak. They arrived within minutes and searched the building. They found nothing. No intruder, no forced entry, no signs anyone had been there. But when they reviewed the security system logs with the building manager, something even worse came out. There was no camera 2 in the system. It wasn't registered, it wasn't installed, it didn't exist. Yet, at exactly 12 a.m., the system showed a brief connection spike, like a device had joined the network and then vanished. The officer asked me one last question before leaving. Are you sure you weren't dreaming? I wanted to say yes. I wanted to believe it was stress. But when I got back to my desk later, after they let me finish the shift in the manager's office, I found something sitting on the front desk. A small black USB drive. No label, no markings, just one word scratched into it with something sharp. Midnight. I quit that job the next day, and every New Year's Eve since then, right before midnight, I keep my phone on silent, because I'm terrified that if it rings again, it won't be a prank, it'll be him, calling to make sure I'm still here to watch the year change, and to remind me, some things don't stay behind in the old year, they follow you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And remember, New Year's Eve is about new beginnings, but sometimes something old follows you into the next year.